Welcome back to Secret Weapons. My name is Mark Johnston, and if this is your first time here, this is a YouTube channel where we do gear demos and reviews, as well as studio tips and tricks for leveling up your writing, your playing, and your production, especially a guitar player working out of a studio. If that's the kind of thing that would appeal to you, please hit that subscribe button and stick around for future videos. Today, we are taking a look at the brand new Soyuz V1 dynamic microphone. So fun fact, if you've seen a video on this channel over the last couple of months where I did not specify what microphone I was using in a video, it's because I was using this on my guitar cabinets. This is the new V1 dynamic microphone from Soyuz, and a couple of months ago, Soyuz reached out and asked if I'd be interested in checking out a pre-production model, which is what we're using here, and giving them some feedback on what I thought about it on guitar cabinets. And I jumped at the opportunity for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is over the last year or so of kind of making the transition from direct-in guitars to miking live guitar cabinets for this studio, I have been primarily using condenser and ribbon microphones and just had not found that pull back to dynamic mics quite yet. And number two is my favorite condenser mic for guitar cabinets is the Soyuz 1973, which I have done a video on this channel fairly recently. I will link to it down below. Because I've been a big fan of Soyuz for a while, I purchased the Soyuz Lifter as my kind of SM7B signal booster a couple of years back when I bought my SM7B for podcasting and whatever else. I picked the Soyuz launcher over your kind of cloud lifters out there because I wanted that kind of saturation and vintage punch that it gave me. And it's a really cool piece of gear. For months now, I've been a massive fan of the 1973. I think it sounds great on my voice. I think it sounds great as a guitar cabinet condenser microphone. And for the last couple of months, I've had, as seen right there, the Soyuz Lakeside microphone preamp, which is my daily driver mic preamp for guitars right now. And honestly, for most things, we are recording my voice through the V1 into the Lakeside with the EQ totally disengaged. And at this point in the video, we are not treating this microphone whatsoever. No EQ, no compression, no post-processing, just lifting the level up in Pro Tools so that we are kind of going from record level, which I usually kind of monitor around -18 dB, up to something a little bit more production friendly. So let's go ahead and apply a little bit of processing to my voice with this microphone while we talk about what I like about it on guitar cabinets. We're just going to do a little bit of low end and low mid cleanup, a little bit of clarity on the high end, and probably some compression just to kind of smooth everything out, maybe some gating. What I really like about this microphone is that it's a pretty articulate dynamic microphone with a frequency response of 50 Hertz to 15K, but not super flat or even. There's a pretty musical response curve across it. We'll put an image of the kind of frequency response chart up on the screen, but as you'll notice, there's kind of a nice, really slow, gentle roll off at about 500 Hertz that kind of dips a little bit more aggressively at 100, letting you kind of avoid too much low-end gunk, especially with like proximity effect on dynamic microphones, without having to do a bunch of EQ surgery at the preamp level or in the post-production level. And you'll also notice that there are bumps around 4 and about 8K with a pretty substantive dip or cut right in that kind of 7, 6K range. And I think that what's really nice about that is it gives good clarity without it feeling harsh. And that combined with one other interesting thing about the construction of this microphone is I think what draws me to it as a guitar cabinet microphone. At the end of the day, something like an SM57 is a classic mic. It just works on guitar cabinets. I did a video recently on this channel where I used a 57 for the first time in like forever, and I was kind of annoyed at how much I loved it, given how much we can kind of love new boutique, fancy, weird mic choices. And I think that there is room for both in all productions, but something that is very true about the 57 that I don't find to be true about this is a 57 can be very unforgiving. Mic-ing an amplifier with a 57 will make things scratchy, brittle, harsh, annoying, anemic. There is a lot of magic in a classic mic like that just sounds right on records, but you have to know what you're doing, and missteps are costly. I find that Soyuz microphones are just kind of more forgiving mics. I find that I can put this almost anywhere on a cabinet pretty casually and pretty quickly, even really close up on that grill cloth, and get great sounds. And part of the reason for that is actually in the construction of this microphone. We'll kind of cut in or put an image of the microphone up on the screen so you can see, but you'll notice that the capsule is actually set back in the housing farther than you would expect for a dynamic microphone. And I think that helps with some proximity effect stuff, and it also kind of helps in conjunction with that frequency response chart to avoid harshness on any sources in my experience. I've tried this out on snare drums, I've tried this out on acoustic guitars, on electric guitars, and on my voice, and I struggle to make this thing sound unmusical, which is really nice. Obviously, if you take a Soyuz mic, which kind of air towards warmer, and put it too far out on the side of an off-miking position on a cabinet, you'll lose clarity quickly, but you can throw something like this really close to that cone and still have it sound really solid. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and grab my Morgan PR12, which is a Princeton style amplifier, a lot of chime, a lot of kind of high-end clarity and bite and kind of brilliance to it, and hear how a microphone like this can just bring out all the best sides of what could otherwise be a very bright and borderline brittle amplifier. We're going to try this out both on clean sounds and overdriven sounds as well. A little bit of inside baseball here as we wrap this video up. As I record this, today is release day, December 2nd for the V1. I'd hoped to put something together that was a little bit more fleshed out for this, but I've actually not been in my studio for about a week and a half because of a combination of out of town for Thanksgiving and me and my family are actually moving right now. So it's been a bit chaotic, and you may be able to tell from the sound of my voice that I am not well rested at the moment. So we didn't really have time to get acoustic sources, drum sources, maybe get a singer in like I would have liked to for something like this. But if you want to see the V1 on more sources from me, let me know in those comments down below. And likewise, we did all of our sound samples today on that Soyuz Lakeside that I love so much. If you want to hear more about that microphone preamp, which I heard a lot of positive kind of interest about in my 1973 video, let me know down below and we'll make that a priority either in December or in January. Let me know in those comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.